CEO fakes being poor to test all blind dates, but only this, poor, betrayed girl agreed, and fate changes. Ethan Zhao, the young CEO of Zhao Enterprises, had everything a man could want: wealth, influence, looks, and the kind of power that made people straighten up when he entered a room. Yet none of it helped him in the one area he'd never mastered: choosing the right woman. Every blind date his family arranged ended the same way. The moment the woman recognized his surname or caught sight of his watch worth more than most apartments, her behavior would change. Laughter became sweeter, touches lingered longer, and conversations revolved around vacations, mansions, and the glittering life they imagined beside him. He was tired of fake smiles, fake intentions, and fake love. So he came up with a test. For the next round of blind dates, he concealed his identity completely. He borrowed a friend's tiny old apartment, wore thrift store clothes, and introduced himself simply as Ethan, a delivery worker between jobs. His assistant and driver were instructed to stay far away. No branded items, no luxury scent, no indications of status. Only raw character. Date after date failed. Some women didn't even sit down before they decided he wasn't worth their time. Others tolerated him for a meal before making an excuse to leave. One laughed openly when he admitted, falsely, that he was struggling to pay bills. But then came Lena Chen. She arrived late, not because she was rude, but because she'd run from a shift at the cafe where she worked double hours. Her hair was slightly messy, her apron still faintly dusted with flour. She apologized breathlessly, bowed slightly, and sat down with a tired but genuine smile. Sorry, work ran long. I hope you didn't wait too much. Ethan found himself studying her face, not because she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever met, but because she was perhaps the first who looked at him without a glimmer of calculation. No worries, he said. I'm glad you came. They talked. Really talked. Not about wealth or status or fancy restaurants, but about childhood memories, silly dreams, fears they rarely admitted to anyone. Ethan found himself laughing, relaxing, forgetting that he was supposed to be testing her. When he offered to split the bill, she immediately objected. You invited me, she said softly, but I know how hard it is when money is tight. Let me help. She insisted on paying half from her tiny salary. Nobody had ever done that for him. Ethan left the date shaken. Not because she'd impressed him, but because she'd touched something inside him he'd forgotten existed: sincerity. But fate, as always, was not satisfied with simplicity. A week later, Ethan saw Alina again, by pure accident. She was sitting on the curb outside the cafe where she worked, shoulders trembling as she tried to hold back tears. He approached cautiously. Lena, what happened? She looked up, startled. It took her a moment to recognize him. Her eyes, wet with betrayal, softened slightly. My boyfriend, well, my ex now. He cheated on me with a coworker. She gave a small laugh, raw and broken. I guess I was too boring, too poor, too ordinary. Ethan's chest tightened. He sat beside her, and for the first time since childhood, he didn't know what to say. Instead, he simply stayed there with her until she stopped crying. She didn't cling to him, didn't try to use the moment to get closer, she simply thanked him for listening. Over the next few weeks, they met again and again. Sometimes for cheap noodles, sometimes just to talk. Ethan found himself looking forward to her messages, to her shy smile, to her quiet resilience. He wanted to tell her the truth. But every time he opened his mouth, fear stopped him. What if she walked away like the others? What if she thought he had manipulated her? What if the sincerity he treasured shattered the moment wealth entered the picture? He decided to wait, just a little longer. Yet fate has a habit of revealing secrets at the worst moment. One afternoon, Lena finished her shift early and walked out the back door, only to see Ethan stepping out of a sleek black car. A driver in uniform hurried to hand him a jacket. The man she knew as a struggling delivery worker suddenly stood surrounded by luxury and respect. Her heart froze. He turned and saw her, panic flashing across his features. Lena, wait, but she was already backing away. You lied, she whispered. All this time, you lied. It wasn't like that. I wanted to know if someone could see me, not my money. But I saw you, the you that you showed me. Who was the real one? She left him standing there, feeling, for the first time in years, utterly powerless. Days passed, weeks. She ignored his messages, blocked his number, avoided the neighborhood where they used to meet. Ethan respected her space, but each day felt emptier. Meanwhile, Lena struggled with a storm of emotions. Betrayal, confusion, anger, and somewhere beneath it all, a soft echo of the connection she couldn't deny. One evening, she found a small envelope slipped under her apartment door. No fancy lettering, no expensive seal. Just her name, written simply. Inside was a single note. I won't ask you to forgive me. I only ask that you tell me what was real for you, because everything was real to me. She read it over and over. Something in her chest cracked. She went to see him. He was sitting alone at the tiny cafe where they had first talked, wearing those same thrift store clothes. No luxury car, no assistant, just Ethan, the man she had gotten to know. Why this place? She asked quietly. Because this is where you saw me before you knew anything else about me. Silence hung between them, then Lena took a slow breath. I liked you, she said. I still do, but I need honesty, Ethan. Not tests or secrets. He nodded, voice unsteady. If you give me another chance, I'll spend every day proving I deserve it. She looked into his eyes, searching for the sincerity she had fallen for. And she found it. A small smile curved her lips, gentle, fragile, hopeful. Then let's start again, she said. Not as CEO and cafe worker. Not as poor boy and betrayed girl. But simply two people who had finally found each other without masks.